He always told me I was dramatic. He always said I had a big imagination, that I was always making up stories, that I should be grateful he put a roof over our heads. He said it in that tired voice. He used the voice that made it sound like every word I spoke was an attack on him, like I was picking at him on purpose. I would hand him a bill and say, "Dad, we are late again." He would sigh, rub his temples, and tell me to stop, just stop, like he was the one cleaning 2 houses and juggling 3 jobs, like he was the one cooking dinner, paying the water bill, and driving my mom to the doctor. I know how that sounds. Childish, bitter, but I'm not a child. I am a grown woman with 2 jobs and a mom who can't do long stares anymore. I'm the one with the list on the fridge, the one who knows where the warranty is for the dishwasher, the one who can fix the leaky sink with some plumber's tape and a prayer. My dad taught me that. He likes to take credit for that. He'll say, "See, I made you tough." He'll say if I was not on the road working, who do you think would teach you to be strong? Then he would pat me on the shoulder like I was his employee and go take a shower and leave me with the mess. The first time I knew something was wrong, I was peeling potatoes. That's how boring the moment was. Potatoes peeler sink, that steady scrape, scrape, scrape that you can hear even now if you close your eyes. My phone lit up with a number I didn't know. I let it go to voicemail because my hands were wet. A minute later it rang again. I wiped my hands on a towel, pulled the phone out, and answered. A little boy's voice said, all breathless, "Hi, is my dad there? Is he with you?" I thought he had the wrong number. "Sorry, who is your dad?" He hesitated like he had been told to be careful. Then he said my dad's name, not Mr. Smith, not a first name, not a nickname. My dad's full name, the way school uses it. I felt my lungs fold. "Who is this?" I said. He said his first name. I won't write it here. It was a normal name, an easy one. He was young. His voice had that bright edge little kids have when they're scared but trying to sound brave. In the background I heard dishes, maybe a TV, a woman's voice saying, "Is it her?" "Where is your mom?" I asked, which is what you ask when your dad's phone is off and a kid you don't know is asking where he is. I felt dizzy. The sink water kept running and running. "She's here," he said. "Is my dad with you?" I wanted to say yes to feel the shape of that lie and push it away. "No," I said. "He's not here." The woman in the background took the phone. "Hi," she said, and her voice was too soft, too careful. "I'm sorry about this. He gave us this number for emergencies." "What emergencies?" I asked. She paused for 2 seconds, then she hung up. I stood there with the peeler in my hand and the potatoes turning brown in the air. The water ran and ran until it turned hot, and then it turned cold again. I shut it off and stood still. In the living room, the TV was playing some old show my mom likes. The laugh track came out like a machine. I could hear her cough. He came in late that night. He had that smell he sometimes has when he says he's been at the office, the smell like someone else's laundry soap. He kisses my mom on the cheek, drops his bag, acts annoyed like we have been sitting all day eating grapes. He looks at the potatoes I made and says, "Oh, awesome mashed potatoes again." Then he says he's tired and he goes to the shower. He never saw the way my hands shook when I set his plate down. He never saw how my face must have looked because my mom gave me that look and mouthed, "What?" And I shook my head. I didn't tell her that night. I didn't tell her for a while. It sounds bad, right? Like I helped him lie, like I made it worse. But when you are the one keeping the ship off the rocks, you don't just throw a grenade on the deck. You think about money and the roof and the sound your mom makes when she is scared. You think about your own back, how it already hurts, and how you don't have time for a disaster. So I set his plate down and I swallowed that cold feeling in my throat and I waited. I started paying attention more. He had 2 phones. He always has had 2 phones because he needs one for work. He keeps one on the counter, sometimes face down like a live animal he doesn't want to run away. The other he keeps in his pocket. He gets up early to take calls. He walks outside to take calls. He always has an excuse for why he needs to go alone. He has client dinners, long drives, visits, side jobs, guy stuff, tool runs. He has 100 words for gone. There were other things too, a receipt for a trampoline in his glove box. Key on his key ring with a little sunflower charm. We do not have a trampoline, and none of us has a sunflower charm. A school fundraiser flyer in his coat pocket, the kind you tape to your fridge with a little schedule printed on it. I found a picture in his truck visor once when I pulled it down because the sun was in my eyes. 2 kids on a swing set. My dad's arm, that arm with the scar from the nail gun accident when I was in middle school, right in the frame. His face isn't in the picture. The kids are laughing. It looks like summer. I told myself 100 little stories because that is what you do when you are scared. He is helping a single mom. He is paying for some neighbor's kids. He is being nice. He is giving some cousin a break. He is doing charity. He has a project, a friend, or something. I am mean if I make it ugly. I am bitter. I am dramatic. That is what he calls me when I ask him where the extra money went, why the savings account is empty again, why the credit card statement has a grocery store on the other side of town. "You are dramatic," he says, and then he laughs like I just told a joke and goes to bed. He pulled me in too. He used me to make it easier for him. "Can you pick up my dry cleaning? Can you drop this off at the post office? Can you call the plumber? Can you cover my card this month and I will give it back next month? Don't tell your mother, she gets hysterical. You're the only one who understands. He said that so many times. You're the only one who understands. He would put his hand on my head like I was still little, and I would feel the old ache I used to feel when I thought his approval was a kind of coin I had to earn. Then he got sick, or not sick. He got scared. He called me from his car with that voice, that hoarse voice, and said, "I'm dizzy." He was on the side of the highway, he said. He thought he was going to pass out. I told him to pull over and wait. I drove out there with a bottle of water and a little bag of crackers like that would fix it. He was gray in the face and his hands shook. I piled him in the car and took him to urgent care. They checked him out, said it might be stress, said to follow up with a doctor. He fell asleep in the chair beside me while we waited for the paperwork. His wallet slid out of his jacket and fell on the floor. I didn't mean to look. It fell open. There in the clear sleeve where most people put their ID or a photo was a family membership card to a rec center. His name, another woman's name, 2 kids' names, family plan, it said, family plan. I felt nothing at first. It was like I left my body. The nurse said something. My dad woke up and rubbed his face. Put the wallet back. I drove him home and he went to the couch and turned on the TV, and my mom tucked a blanket around him like he was 5. I went into the bathroom and threw up so hard I burst blood vessels in my eyes. I looked like I had been crying for days when I wasn't crying at all. I decided I was done telling myself stories. Sometimes you decide that. You are tired. You are so tired you can't carry the lie anymore because it is heavier than the truth. I waited until he fell asleep with his mouth open. I waited until my mom went to bed with her book. Then I took his keys, that bunch with the sunflower charm, and I drove. It was not far. That was the worst part. I thought it would be far away, like a whole other city, some hidden place where he could be a different man. It was 10 minutes away if you caught the green lights. A quiet street with trees that have those little lights wrapped around them like somebody never took down their holiday decorations. A small house with a basketball hoop above the garage. A trampoline in the yard. Of course. I sat in my car, and my hands shook so badly I had to sit on them. I had to breathe in through my nose, out through my mouth, the way the nurse taught my mom when she had a panic attack once. Then I got out and I took the key with the sunflower charm, and I walked up to a door I had never seen before. I stood there for a second and thought, is this the same doorbell sound we have at home? Like those small dumb things would make this normal. The door opened before I knocked. It opened because there were voices inside and footsteps, and a boy ran into the hallway and the door swung wide behind him, and then he saw me and froze. It was the boy from the phone. His eyes went wide. "It's her," he said. "It's her," like I was a ghost. Behind him a girl with a ponytail peeked, and a woman came from the kitchen with a dish towel in her hand. She looked at me, really looked, and her face did this complicated thing. She smiled, but her eyes were ashamed. "You must be," she said, and she said my name, my full name. Not hi, not who are you, but my name. Then she stepped aside like I was expected, like they were waiting for me. I walked in. I don't know why, I was furious, but I was also still. It felt like being underwater. Everything was soft. The living room was the sort of living room you make when you are making a life. There were school pictures on the wall in frames that matched. A big calendar, the kind with a dry erase marker. There was a picture of my dad holding those 2 kids at the beach. He had his stupid hat on, the one I always make fun of. He had his arm around the woman too, in another picture at what looked like a backyard barbecue. He looked happy. He looked the same. The woman wiped her hands on the towel and said quietly, "I didn't want to do this, but I told him you would find out." I laughed. It sounded like a bark. "You told him I would find out?" She nodded. "He told us about you. He told us. We've known." She swallowed like the word was a sharp bone. "We've known about you all along." I drew back like she had slapped me. The boy flinched. The girl grabbed his hand. "He said you were grown," the woman said fast now. "He said your mother knew. He said you were fine, that you had your own life. He said he was there for you, that it was complicated, that he had to be careful because your mom's health is fragile. He said he didn't want to upset her." He said, I could not think of a larger thing to say. I felt like a clown with a tiny horn. He said. She closed her eyes for a second. "You look like him," she whispered. "Your eyes." I wanted to burn her house down. I wanted to sit on her couch and cry into my hands. I wanted to pick up the picture of my dad and throw it at the wall. I wanted to go home and pretend I never saw this, hold it in my mouth like a razor. "He knew you," sparkled a sharp voice in my mind. "He told them your name. He talked about you. He had another kitchen where he put his keys. He had another drawer for his socks. He had another set of shampoo bottles and another shower where his hair is clogging the drain. He had 2 lives, and the one he gave you was the basic plan with ads. He had this shiny, quiet, matching frames life, and he fed you the leftovers. My father," I said slow and careful like I was reading his name off a certificate, "is married to my mother." She nodded. "He's not married to me," she said like that was important. "He couldn't. He told me it was over there. He told me that he was trying to end it clean, that she couldn't handle it. He said if I loved him, I would give him time, and I did. "And you knew about me," I said, and the words were thick. "He told you my name?" "Yes," she said. "He showed us your graduation pictures." The girl added, "I follow you on Instagram." She said it like she was proud, like it was normal, and then her face went red. "I'm sorry." He said not to say anything. But I wanted to message you, but he said not to. I turned around and walked back out. I didn't slam the door. I drove home slow as if the whole world was a school zone. I walked into our kitchen and set my keys down, and my mom looked up and said, "Where were you?" In that small voice she uses when she is trying not to be scared. She looked at my face and her mouth started to shake. "What?" He was asleep on the couch with one arm thrown over his eyes. I went and stood over him. I watched his chest rise and fall. I watched his mouth twitch. I thought about all the nights I had put a blanket over him the way I had tucked it under his feet because I knew he kicked in his sleep. I thought about how many dinners I had set in front of him. I thought about the fundraiser flyer in his pocket, the trampoline, sunflower keychain, the phone call from a child I had never met who knew my number like it was written on the inside of his eyelids. I shook his shoulder. "Wake up." He blinked. He did that "I just woke up" blink that looks like confusion. What is it? What time is it?" I didn't yell. I didn't anything. I looked at him and I said calmly, "How is your other family?" His mouth hung open like he forgot how to close it. He looked at my mom. He looked back at me. He sat up slow. He said without any shame, "I don't know what you're talking about." I laughed again. It hurt to make that sound. "I met them," I said. "They knew my name." My mom made a sound like someone hit her. She put her hand over her mouth. He reached for her and she jerked away like his skin was hot. "I can explain," he said, which is what people say when they can't. "It's not what you think." "How many times are you going to tell me I'm dramatic?" I asked him. "How many times are you going to say it's in my head? How many times are you going to use me to hide from your own life?" He stood up big like he was going to make his size into a point. "It's complicated." "No," I said, "it's not." I pointed at the door. "Do you want to do it here or there? Do you want to tell her in this kitchen, or do you want me to drive her over there and let her see the trampoline?" He sagged. He looked so small all of a sudden. He put his hands over his face like a child who thinks you can't see him if he can't see you. Then he did that thing he always does when he is cornered. He turned it around. "Do you know how hard I work? Do you know how tired I am? Do you know how much pressure I have? I did this for you. I kept it from you to protect you." "To protect me?" My voice cracked. "From what?" "From knowing my father is a liar." My mom sat down suddenly like her legs stopped working. I went to her and got down on my knees and put my head on her knee like I was a kid again. She petted my hair like she always does when I am sick. I felt like a cut piece of rope. He stood there in the kitchen looking at us, and I thought he will still make this my fault if I let him. I didn't let him. I stood up and said, "We are going to that house." He started to talk. I cut him off. "Right now." It was a mess. Of course it was. People cry in different ways. My mom is quiet. She cried into her hands like she was trying to keep the sound in. The other woman cried a strong, angry cry with words in it. "Why would you lie? Why would you say she knew? Why would you bring my kids into this?" The kids cried those messy kid tears that make you want to keep everything bad away from them. My dad cried those dry, angry man tears with no water in them, loud voice, lots of motion. He tried to put his arms around everyone. He tried to be the translator in his own crime. He kept saying, "Let me explain," and I wanted to put a piece of tape over his mouth. Neighbors looked. I did not care. I wanted the world to see him. I wanted this to be outside. Do you want to know how the families reacted after? My aunt told me I was cruel. She said men do this. She said you don't know what goes on in a marriage. She said your mother should have kept this in private. She said I should not show off my anger online like I am right now. She said I am burning my bridges out of spite. When I asked her if she would say the same if it was her husband, she hung up. My dad sent texts for days. The first day was lots of "you put your mother at risk, and how could you do that to her? And you embarrassed me." Then he changed to "I love you, please don't hate me, and you're my firstborn, and I did what I could and be the bigger person." Then he sent me a picture of his blood pressure reading like it was my fault his heart beats faster now that he has to tell the truth. He called me dramatic. He said I made a scene. He said I always need to be the center of attention. I blocked him. I unblocked him to tell him the lawn mower is still in the garage and he can come get it if he texts me first, and I am here. Then I blocked him again. I blocked the other woman for a day, then unblocked her because she has kids and they might need something. I told her if the kids want to talk, they can. I told her not to ask me to forgive him for her. She said she won't. She said she thought I was mean before because of the stories he told, but now she knows. She said he said you were hard to love. I said I am not hard to love, I am hard to lie to. I printed out the credit card statements. I made a spreadsheet. I showed my mom where the money went. I called a lawyer. When I told my dad we needed the tax forms, he said, "Let's do this quietly," and I said no. He told me I was ruining his life. I told him he already ruined it. He said I am cruel. I said I am tired. He wanted me to be the same little girl who stood on the porch with a lunchbox waiting for him to come home. He wanted to be the hero of both houses. He wanted 2 Father's Day breakfasts, 2 sets of kids to clap when he came in, 2 women to carry his groceries and his lies. He wanted me to keep the wheels on the cart while he drove it into a ditch. He wanted me to keep my mouth shut. I know people will ask why I didn't tell my mom sooner. I ask myself that too. I could say I was scared. I could say I was in denial. I could say I was trying to keep her safe. That is true. I was also exhausted. I was also trained. He trained me to smooth everything over. He trained me to take the blame. He trained me to be proud of carrying too much. He told me I was the only one who understood. He handed me his secrets like they were gifts. I held them because it felt like love. But here is the part I can't get over, the part that wakes me in the middle of the night and makes my jaw hurt. They knew about me. They knew about me all along. They knew my name. They watched my life like it was a TV show. He let them walk around inside my story while I cooked his dinner and paid his bills and listened to him sigh. He told them I was grown. He told them I was fine. He told them I was dramatic. He made me into a character in their family play. He made me the difficult daughter who lives over there. Do you want to hear the stupidest detail? His toothbrush. He had the same toothbrush as at our house. Same brand, same color. I was in their bathroom because I had to pee because my body didn't care where I was. It was on the sink next to hers lined up. His cologne was there too. Same bottle. Same dent in the cap from where he dropped it once and made me super glue it. He took the little bits of our life and copied them and laid them out somewhere else. He minded the details. He wanted two worlds that felt the same so he could pretend nothing had weight. He used to tell me I was the rock of our family. He used to say that when he wanted something, the rock, like a foundation, but rocks sink if you push them into water. I have been sinking for years. I used to think that is what love is, holding your breath under the surface so someone else can float. No, love is not that. Love is not inventing new lungs just to keep a secret happy. So here it is. Here is my proof. He had two families. He had two kitchens, two sets of bills, two lives. He had kids who call me by my name because he told them. He had a woman who thought I didn't exist because I was a grown-up, and grown-up kids don't matter to men who want new lives. He had me, and he used me because I was convenient. He told me I was dramatic because it worked. I am done being convenient. I will not be the extra shelf in his second pantry. I will not be the list on the fringe of his life where he writes down what he needs when he remembers I'm there. I will not be the guard dog who keeps his mess away from his shiny porch. People will say family is complicated, sure, but sometimes it is simple. He lied. He lied for years. He lied to everybody, and he made us hold the lie. We are done. My mom is sitting at the kitchen table with the sun on her hair. She looks older than last month. She also looks lighter. She is doing a crossword with her pencil. She looks up and says, "Do we have money for grapes?" And I say yes, because I made a new budget, and we do. I go to the store and buy grapes, and I come home and I wash them and we eat them on the porch. A simple thing, a small true thing. I answer texts from a girl whose ponytail I saw in a hall who calls me sis sometimes and then apologizes, and I tell her it's okay. I don't know what she is to me actually. I don't know what to call any of this. It is too soon for labels. It is not too soon for truth. When people call me dramatic now, I say that is fine. Call me that. I will be loud. I will be messy. I will not make myself small so a man can fit two lives inside the space that should have just been one. I do not owe anyone my quiet. He owes me my time back and all the dinners I cooked, and every time I stayed up late waiting to hear his truck in the drive and it was silent. I did not find out by snooping. I found out because he let the seams show, because that is what happens. You cannot live with a foot on each stair forever. You fall. When he fell, I was there. Of course I was. I always was. But when he stood back up, I did not pick up his lie and hand it back. He asked me once on the phone a week after it blew up, "What do you want me to say?" He was crying. He was doing that thing he does where he thinks if he sounds broken, I will fix him. I said, "Say you did this. Say you knew exactly what you were doing every single day you woke up and put your keys in your pocket. Say it. Then go away. Then let us heal." He hung up. I am not asking for advice. I am not asking for permission to be mad. I know what happened. I know what I saw. I have the sunflower key. I have the photo of the trampoline in my head. I have the sound of that boy's voice saying, "Is my dad with you?" I have the taste of that night in my mouth like a penny I can't spit out. I have my mom's hand on my hair. I have a stack of bills and a plan. I have the small good thing of the morning light on the porch. The rest is his problem. He built it. He can carry it, not on my back, not anymore.